the artists should try to do. In 1977, more and more people are becoming expertise at their particular job. A lighting designer, the writer, the engineer in the studio, the producer in the studio, the publicist, the promoter, the hype guy, the radio stations. We're all good. You know why? We're General Motors. We're not $1,000 business. We're not $1 million. We're a multi-billion-dollar industry. Every week, I don't roll $10. I don't roll $50,000. We roll over $100,000 a week. If there's rain, we lose 30. If it's sunny, we make 80. And thank God, over the years, we've been more successful than we have failure. If you're smart, you'll weed out the shit, and you'll be able to hear a lot of good music. But in our industry, in order to have a flower in my garden, I got to plow a lot of fields to make it so I can have that. And once in a while, we can do a last waltz, and we can do the things on New Year's Eve, which are the finest shows in the world. Yeah, New Year's Eve at 5. I don't give you a noisemaker and take this pill and say, you're having a good time, you're having a good time, you're having a good time. But at 5 minutes to midnight, you will be pleasantly surprised by some maniac concoction that I'll dream up while I'm on a plane from Zazu City to back home to San Francisco.
Seems like the music industry has expanded so much that there couldn't really be another Beatles that would take over the entire music business. Like when they came along in '63, they were the #1 group, and it seems like music is spread out so much, like an octopus or an amoeba or something, so that there couldn't be any one group to really dominate the way the Beatles.
I agree with you, but the Beatles dominated at a time when there were only 3 or 4 guys on the team, and now the team has 4,000 players. Yeah. They also came along early in this epic era, whatever you want to call 65 to whenever it ends. I don't mean the social thing, the music, the rock and roll. Where will it end? Who knows where it ends? But if it's 65 to 1985, you also have to look at the prolific output of who they were. One of the major problems that has existed in this music business, and you can't say anymore FM, AM, pop, country. It's one big baby out there. I mean, when Dolly Parton starts singing rock and roll, and when Waylon Jennings starts playing rock and roll, I mean, you know, it's not just country or rock. It's money. It's a big business, and if it doesn't work there, it'll work there. When Frank Sinatra does a disco version of Night and Day, which I just read, why? He wants to sell records. Okay, now the Beatles. How many Gershwins are there? How many Cole Porters are there? How many Oscar Hammersteins are there? Rogers and Hammerstein. How many Oklahomas are there? So, not just the music, the lyrics. As much as I have great appreciation and respect for Bob Dylan, he shot his wad somewhere along the way. And he was great. I mean, the songs he wrote, I mean, Just Like a Woman, Like a Rolling Stone, I mean, marvelous songs of the times that would have been good in any era, but they also meant something in the 60s. And he was the guru for so many people. That's what he had to say. And since then, but when the Beatles were together, and any machine that could put out genius is human. And when you say, is there room for that, Bill? There's always room for genius. And there's so much good now. You see, our own appreciation level has gone up. In order for you to affect me the way the Beatles did then, you got to come up here. Whereas then, you had to come up here, perhaps. But how much was there around? All of a sudden, I mean, I have a bad the easiest way sometimes for me to describe what I want to say is to use an analogy. If I haven't used my nose very much, you can put a fair scent in front of my nose. Oh my God. But if I work in a perfume factory, and I come home and you say, smell these flowers, you better have something there. What I'm making is, in 1977, Go from the Eagles to Little Feat to Maynard Ferguson to Cat Stevens to Marshall Tucker to Emerson, Lake and Palmer to Barry Manilow, Hall & Oates. Look what you got. Now, in order for me to be affected, look what it has to be, as opposed to look what it had to be in 1965. Am I getting through?
Yeah.
And so, I hope there is a Beatles, but in order for there to be a Beatles, look what it has to be, because look how much we have. I mean, we're all so fucking spoiled rotten. There is so much out there. And one of the things you could say is, look how much shit. I said, that's your hang-up. Weed it out. Take the time to listen to all that shit and weed it out. And you will find out. They are flowers, you know. You move the manure out of the way. You get rid of the poison oak. And you move into another neighborhood. And it won't stink. That's what you got to do.